Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. In this 1-hour special, you will look at several incidents where police officers abuse their authority and completely neglect their oath to uphold the Constitution. In this first incident, we're looking at a case where police officers threw an innocent man to the ground and made up several false charges against him just because he was rightfully walking around his own neighborhood late at night. On May 17, 2023, a young man named Matthew Daly stepped out of his home at around 3 a.m. in the morning to simply walk around his neighborhood and relax before heading off to work later in the morning. While he was walking around, a security guard started to follow Mr. Daly and eventually called the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department to report a suspicious person pulling on car door handles. We're about to watch body cam footage from one of the officers who responded to the scene.
Right there. Right there. Just so right on the corner. He just went around the corner towards that house. Palm Beach Gardens Police Department. Hold up right where you're at.
Hello? Is there a problem?
Yep, just hang out right where you're at.
What's the problem?
12 and 10, 12, 15, 11.
What's the problem?
We had a call for you going around checking,
What?
Down on your knees.
Yep, hang out right where you're at.
Down on your knees.
Hang out right where you're at.
What the am I doing? Oh my god, bro! Oh my god!
When I tell you to get down, you get
What
down.
am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing, bro? Oh my fucking god!
Got it. I got it. Alright, cool. Alright.
Come over.
Alright.
Bro, what am I doing? Why can't you guys just fucking tell me, bro?
You're being detained right now for attempted burglary. The vehicles. Yeah.
What?
Vehicles.
Okay, so what's attempted burglary then? Tell me
Stay
what.
where at. Hey,
What?
Stay down
You
on the
told- I
ground.
thought you told me to stand up.
Nobody told you to stand up.
My bad. Fucking calm down, bro. Jesus, that's not helping. No, he told you to stand up. Shut the up, bro.
You got it, buddy.
Attempted burglary.
Exactly right.
Yep.
What is attempted burglary?
Alright, real quick. I'm required to warn you before you make any statements of the following constitutional rights. 1, you have the right to remain silent on answering questions. 2, any statement you make must be freely and voluntarily given. 3, you have the right to the presence and representation of a lawyer of your choice before you make any statements and during any questioning. 4, if you cannot afford a lawyer, you're entitled to the presence and representation of a court-appointed lawyer before you make any statements and during any questioning. 5, if at any time during the interview you do not wish to answer any questions, you're privileged to remain silent. 6, I can make no threats or promises to induce you to make a statement. This must be of your own free will.
So you just get a
And
call
7,
and then you guys just jump me?
any statements can be and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand these rights that I've read them to you?
All right, but like, what's attempted burglary though?
Are you listening?
Yeah,
you understand these rights?
I heard you.
All right.
As seen in the footage, just seconds into the encounter, Mr. Daly found himself violently tackled to the ground and placed in handcuffs without even initially being told about what was going on and why he was being treated like a criminal. In fact, Mr. Daly was complying with all their orders by standing still and putting his hands up in the air, yet they threw him to the ground anyway. As we learn, Mr. Daly was now detained for attempted burglary. To define this, we can look at the 2022 case of United States v. Magloire, where it was mentioned that, under Florida law, attempted burglary involves 1, the intent to commit burglary, and 2, some overt act directed towards its commission. So, in other words, just because the police received a call about someone suspicious who pulled on car door handles, the officers conveniently assumed that Mr. Daly was a burglar. However, case law Florida v. JL was one where the Supreme Court ruled that law enforcement officers cannot simply detain an individual just because they receive a call on him or her. Instead, the officers must look at any reliable and predictive information that would allow them to appropriately investigate the alleged crime and come to a logical solution. Clearly, the complete opposite happened in Mr. Daly's case. Now let's continue watching as the officers slowly start to realize that they have messed up. Listen closely to what Mr. Daly has to say.
So we can do a show off.
Cool.
What the f?
You got him, brother.
Like, is this because I was looking in my car for something?
Looking in more than just in your car, apparently.
Literally 2 fucking cars.
Yeah, why are you looking in the 2 cars?
My cars that I fucking
Cars?
own. Yes.
Cool, well, we're figuring this out. We got a call from security about someone matching your
Bro,
description going
this
through
guy
bars.
harasses me. That's the probably dude who called you, bro. I got work soon. I got fucking work soon, and you are fucking tackling me, bro.
Stop.
Shine your light on.
This is so fucking retarded. Who the f are those? Is that the Haitian dude over there? Right? Black guy? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, do you have an ID on you?
No.
What's your first name?
What crime have I committed?
Right now, you're
What
going to be
crime?
under arrest for L&P, loitering and prowling. And then we're going to
That's not
determine.
what. Okay.
Then we're going to determine.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Wow.
never mind.
All right,
Take
buddy.
him to the car.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fine.
Perfect.
You, bro.
Which one's your car, Justin?
It's over by the roadside, because I was going to go meet up with security at 13.
All right, we'll hold him here. You can bring your car over.
You got it.
Loitering and crowd. Wow. Like literally, we can. All my parents right now. I don't know. Bald dude over there. Yeah, there's nothing in my pockets right now. I got my phone. Yeah, I know. I got my phone in there.
The last name, Matthew?
Daily.
Bailey? How you spell that?
D-A-O-Y.
You got that? Matthew Daly.
G-A-I-L-Y?
No, D-A-O-Y.
G-A-L-Y?
Jesus, bro. Like, dude f***ing tackles me out of nowhere, bro.
You have a date of birth?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to investigate, okay, Matthew?
Alright, bro. Like, we can literally go knock on my door right now. I'm just saying. Just to show you that that was the
Do you have a middle initial, Matthew?
And I looked, what? Yeah,
Middle.
W, Wayne. But yeah, that's the thing.
And D-A-L-Y?
Okay.
Sit down, Matthew.
So, I know for a fact, he saw me.
As if the situation couldn't get any worse, one of the officers, likely because of an obvious power trip, confidently informed Mr. Daly that he was placed under arrest for loitering and prowling. He was looking in his cars for something, not a crime. Arrested for loitering and prowling. Under Section 856.021 Florida statutes, it is unlawful for any person to loiter and prowl in a place, at a time, or in a manner not usual for law-abiding individuals, under circumstances that warrant a justifiable and reasonable alarm or immediate concern for the safety of persons or property in the vicinity. Note that this only applies when an individual is doing something alarming or concerning in an inappropriate place at the wrong time. Such was not the case here. Mr. Daly was well within his rights to walk around in the neighborhood at any time he wanted to. Also, this is an appropriate time to discuss the disproportionate use of force employed against Mr. Daly. Note that police officers are generally allowed to use reasonable force to take a person into custody. For example, if a suspect resists by momentarily attempting to run away or giving a token push, an officer wouldn't be justified in using extreme force. If officers use unnecessary force, they can be subject to serious repercussions, including criminal prosecution and civil liability in the form of lawsuits by victims. But the main question arises, what exactly is a reasonable force? According to the same source, courts decide whether an officer's use of force was unreasonable on a case-by-case basis, taking into account the severity of the crime, whether the suspect posed a threat, and whether the suspect was resisting or attempting to flee. Judging by everything in the encounter so far, it's clear that the officers were unlawfully detaining and arresting Mr. Daly. This becomes especially true when Mr. Daly made it clear that he owns 2 cars, and he was indeed looking inside both of them to find something. Despite this explanation, the officers continue to treat him like a criminal.
If we figure out where he lives, then we'll run the cars that are over there. Problem is that he's walking throughout the community.
You know, either way, I'm just curious who even lives in this
Yeah.
block right now.
Yep.
Don't leave when it starts off. You want me to walk him?
My house.
Well, why don't they describe the first vehicle, please?
A white Honda Accord. It's got curb rash on one, really bad curb rash on one of the wheels, and a gray Toyota Highlander.
Copy? 10 stairs. Okay.
Yep.
You got the address? Yeah. All right, Matthew.
Yeah, I can walk.
No.
Nope, just hang out right there.
Alright.
Stay right there. Thank you.
Why are we walking over to 15th Terrace, though? What's all the way over here that you need to check out?
Oh, no, nothing over here. I was literally just walking, and that f***er was just following me. I wasn't doing shit, bro.
Have you heard about what's going on in this community? There's
No.
been several cars stolen, bunch of vehicle burglaries.
Something they could f***ing prevent. That's not me. I don't care, but
Right, but what do you think it looks like to
This
a
is my
security guard?
neighborhood. I can walk around at 3 a.m.
Well,
I can't walk around at 3 a.m. before
what do you
work.
think it looks like?
I don't care what it looks like. Like, doesn't mean you can f***ing tackle me out of nowhere. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, we didn't tackle you out of nowhere.
Yes, you f***ing
We
did.
gave you a lawful order.
No, you
refused
f***ing
to
did.
comply.
Shut up. Shut up.
You
I
have
don't
mental health
care.
issues?
Oh, my
You
God,
have mental
bro.
health issues?
Shut the f*** up.
You have mental health
Shut the
issues?
f*** up.
Okay. When you're given a lawful order, when
Shut
we're...
the f*** up. Shut up. I don't care, bro. Go investigate.
don't care.
Go investigate. Go investigate. Go investigate. Go investigate. Go
Are you
investigate. Go
12?
investigate. Go investigate.
You are 12,
Go
right?
investigate. Go
you
investigate.
12?
Go investigate. Are you a retard? Go investigate. Are you a cop? Go investigate. Go
At this point, even though it was rather evident that Mr. Daly not only lived in the neighborhood and had every right to walk around whenever he wanted to, but it was also clear that both of the cars he was allegedly trying to break into and steal were actually his. Based on this, the only logical and dutiful thing the officers must do is release him from the false detainment. But they apparently didn't plan to do that, and instead started to conspire to see how they could somehow land him in trouble either way. Let's not forget that in order to hold a subject in custody, law enforcement officers must have reasonable suspicion or probable cause that the individual has committed a crime. Even if they did have reasonable suspicion, it was now cleared out and dispelled, making this an unlawful detainment and arrest. Another point worth discussing is the fact that Mr. Daly had a coffee mug and a mobile phone in his hands, plus he was barefoot. All of this might sound unusual without the context, but bear in mind that Mr. Daly claimed that he initially came out to look for something in his car. If we look at it in this context, it's obvious that Mr. Daly was being truthful.
He's getting a statement. Dorito's going to go over there with the security.
Figure out what cars he was peering into.
Yeah. Because he said
No,
numerous.
that he was
numerous.
pulling handles on.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Literally 2 cars, bro.
Numerous cars, the security guy said.
Yeah.
Lying, bro.
Has he been arrested before?
Yeah, I Mirandized him immediately. As soon as we got cuffs on him and got him situated.
Good job.
Yeah.
Because in order for him to dispel our suspicion, we have to read him before we pull first.
Yep.
All right. So security says 3 to 4 cars.
3 to 4 cars?
Yep.
Alright, cool.
Bro, what?
Cool.
So at this point, just
10,
hold out
15
here.
LMP.
Yeah, it's going to be LMP, but we got to make sure
Or we may end
that...
up having 21s.
What's that?
Hopefully we'll end up having 21s.
Yeah. Well, obviously, plus tomorrow, if there's any 21s,
We've got a suspect.
we got a
so.
suspect.
Alright, I'll at least call him 10-15 for LMP now.
Yeah. Oh, and we just without.
Got it. Cool. Gardens up 12. Show Matthew 10-15 for LMP.
Just hang out here till we can confirm the...
Cool. Will do.
Hey, did he run around the corner when he saw you?
I pulled up, he looked at me, kept walking this way, walked around there, and then that's when I confirmed with security, hey, white male, blue shirt, black pants, and that's when I took off after him. He was still walking. They just said we have priors from this year of him taking shrooms and then going hog wild.
Yeah, he's totally there.
And he has a mug with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. That's kind of weird.
We have him for LMP. So.
Yeah, but I'd like to find some video cameras over there that show, like, actual...
Him pulling on door
21,
handles.
yeah. Especially since it sounds like these cars are not...
They're his
neighbors
cars.
of his,
Yeah, and they're neighbors. So. Yeah, I'm going blue real quick.
The footage ends here, and Mr. Daly was eventually taken down to the police station where he was charged with loitering and prowling. A completely trumped up accusation which we've already discussed how bogus it was. Also, note that the officers did not review any surveillance footage before taking Mr. Daly to jail, meaning they technically hadn't even concluded their investigation before charging him. Speaking of which, all the officers really had to do was simply drive a few blocks down to Mr. Daly's residence, knock on his door, and have his parents come out to confirm that he lived there. By the end of it, on June 21, 2023, the false charges were dropped by the judge, but Mr. Daly had to pay $100 in court costs. There have been no further updates made on this incident, and it's unclear whether Mr. Daly plans to file a civil lawsuit against the police. Next up, we have an incident from a First Amendment auditor who was simply exercising his right to record when he was met with an uneducated employee, followed by several tyrannical police officers who weren't happy with a man simply recording inside a public building. In November 2023, an auditor who goes by the name Surreal Cam was at the Department of Veterans Affairs, Lee County Healthcare Center, where he set out on a mission to check whether the employees and law enforcement officers in the federally owned building would respect his freedom to record around public areas. The entire ordeal was captured on the auditor's personal camera.
For Lee County, actually we are in Cape Coral, Florida, guys. Beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. And we're at this nice building over here, this federal building, hospital I should say. And we're gonna go ahead and see if they respect my rights to record in here peacefully and exercise my rights. Stay tuned, guys. Alright, guys. So we got the federal rules right here. There's a property, guys. How you doing? Working hard away. Huh? Can I help you here? No. I don't need no help, thank you. Got these. Building right here.
Oh, yeah.
I beg your pardon?
You're not supposed to. Yeah. Well, the first one was a
Sir, can we help you? Oh no, I don't need no help. I'm
You
good.
can't be recording video in here.
What do you?
No photographs, no video.
Sure I can.
No, you can't.
It's on your rules and regulations right there. It's a federal building. Absolutely I can. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jim, Rick is up in we allow them to pack it. Oh, yeah. And they come out. That's just the video. When it comes out, they can go through it. Yeah. All right. No patience.
No. I'm not here for that. Have a good day. What's your name?
Rich.
So far in the footage, everything seemed to be going well. The auditor was in the building as an independent journalist taking videos of the inside, something which is indeed allowed and clearly stated at the entrance as we saw the auditor zoom into the rules and regulations. We did see one of the front desk receptionists inform the auditor that photography and videography were not allowed, but he quickly checked with management who told him it was allowed as long as no patients were captured on film. In other words, it was officially clear that the auditor could continue all he wanted as long as he didn't intentionally record any patients. On another note, some people argue that First Amendment auditors intentionally cause problems to prove a point, but that's far from reality. A First Amendment audit occurs when people film public officials or employees to hold them accountable or test their right to film in public spaces like town halls, libraries, police stations, parking lots, or state and local agencies. The public space passes the test if the audit is uneventful. It fails the test if a public employee confronts the person filming or auditor, attempts to stop them from filming, threatens them with arrest, or removes them from the public space. So, if anything, these audits not only raise awareness of the prevailing issues in terms of constitutional rights being violated, but they also hold public officials accountable. Both elements are very important.
taking some video. Just taking some video.
Oh, fun.
I know. Have a good day. How you doing? Good. I'm just taking a look around. That's it.
Mr. Brooks, I want to thank you for your service.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hi.
Good, good.
Oh my God,
That's a good attitude.
Am I on camera?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, hi.
Hey, happy Veterans Day. What is your name?
Christina,
Yours?
Ashley?
are you doing a documentary?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
God, you should have told me you were coming.
Why? You look great. You look great.
No,
No, you look great.
Your makeup team.
I would have brought my squad.
Awesome.
Please don't do this.
No. You look fabulous, the three of you.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Take care. Thank you for your service.
Awesome, thank you. Just working a little story on the hospital here.
For who?
It's just a little story I'm working on. I'm an independent journalist. People want to see the building here.
So it's a
My
blog.
viewers, something like that. Yeah, it's my right to do it. My First
None of
Amendment.
these people have given you permission to have their.
I don't need permission. I'm not even recording them, but I can. If they're out in public, there's no expectation of privacy. But I'm not here for people. Just so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my constitutional right.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, it is.
I have a right to tell you I don't want my face or anything.
Well, you just interacted with me.
That does not give you
I
permission
wasn't
to
even
record
trying
me.
to interact with
Right,
you.
because I'm very suspicious as an employee as to why somebody would be recording.
Why not?
Because we have a right
You
to
know you're
not
being
have-
recorded everywhere you go, like everywhere you go these days? No matter.
That's correct.
You need to turn it off, there's two-party consent.
Not in Florida.
Yes, it is.
I know my laws. I do this for a living.
And there's also posting outside.
Yeah, the poster outside says I can do this here in public areas. That's it.
I'm asking you to turn it off.
I'm not gonna turn off my story. Why should I do that? Why should I do that? I wasn't even trying to interact with you.
Because what you're doing is wrong.
Why is it wrong? You guys, these people,
Face is copyrighted.
these people fought for our rights, for the Constitution here.
That's right, I'm one of them.
So, and I'm exercising it. I'm
I'm
exercising.
exercising my right to tell you I do not want you to do that. And if I have to call the VA police to have that handled,
They're actually right there.
After countless employees at the healthcare center responded very happily, respectfully, and logically to the auditor's act of recording around, one of the nurses suddenly called him out and told him to stop recording. She claimed that he did not have permission from anyone, including her, to record them. First of all, the people sitting around that area were not patients, so the auditor officially had permission to record them. Secondly, he was actually not recording them at all. Third, the nurse was essentially another employee, and the fact that she's working in a federally owned healthcare center gives anyone the right to record her while she performs her duties. She indeed has no reasonable expectation of privacy. For further context, the reasonable expectation of privacy allows you to hold someone accountable for violating your personal privacy. But the thing is, there is not much reasonable expectation outside the home when you're out in public. The right to seclusion does not extend to the public view, but the law still offers some safeguards. Privacy law protects you from humiliation or having your private details made public. Also, one correction to make is that there is in fact a two-party consent law in Florida. However, it didn't apply in this case. According to a law firm based in the state, in Florida, we have what's called the two-party consent law, and that means that both parties have to consent to a recording. Now, there are certain situations where this doesn't apply. That's where there's not an expectation of privacy. So, judging by all these elements, we understand that the auditor was well within his right to continue recording just like he was, and the two-party consent law did not apply, meaning he could record everyone except for patients. Now things get heated as the police get involved.
You're actually right there.
Come over. This man is walking around, pointing down the hallway.
Just film me without consent. Did not give me consent to film my face.
I'm just documenting the building, and she interacted with me, and I was trying to explain to her what I'm doing. Very peacefully. That's it. They don't want to be.
Get permission?
Who are you?
Police officer.
Cool. What's your badge number, your name?
You don't have my badge number here.
You don't know your badge
What you
number?
need?
I'm just documenting the building. That's it.
Okay, but when you're around people here, you might be not able to, keep PII for people that
Well, is this a public area?
allow them to.
Is this a public area?
This is a walk for you.
Yeah. I come with no ill will.
Huh?
Yeah, this is not private. This is a federal hospital. This is a public area. There's no expectation of privacy. When you're in public, there's no privacy. I'm not trying to film people, but if they're in my camera, I'm not with that. I'm with just recording the building. My viewers want to see this beautiful building that we pay. It's on the rules and regulations right there. I'm just exercising my rights.
Okay, I understand.
That's all I'm doing.
But just make sure when you do this.
Yeah.
You do not have permission to use anything of me because I did not give you permission.
You don't need
I
permission.
denied you.
Just when you're here, in here, you're doing the videotape like you say,
Yeah.
you're showing them beautiful building, everything else.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't get any evidence there because
I'm not trying to do that, but if they interact with me like she did, and I was trying to explain to her very peacefully what I was
that's what I'm
doing.
telling you.
That's it. It's not against the law. It's legal. It's my first constitutional right to record you.
That's what I'm telling you.
When you're in public, there's no
I
privacy.
understand that, but like I said,
I don't answer that type of question. What's your name and badge number? Right here. Can you pronounce it?
Officer Butler,
What's your badge number?
3594.
That's it.
That's what administration.
I don't want to answer the question. It doesn't matter if I am or
It
not.
does matter.
huh? Right, you gotta be better in here. If not, you're trespassing.
Trespassing in this building? No, it's not.
Yes.
But I'm not answering no questions. This is a federal building.
We have
I don't have to be.
We have gates, private gates out there. That you
So
actually
the public can't come in here and take video?
No.
Hey,
Not without.
can I show you rules and regulations?
Come on, show me.
All right, let's go. Let's go do it.
Let's go, let's go.
I do my research. That's it. That's what I'm doing.
You can show me, tell me.
Yeah. This is a federal.
trying to deny you.
This is a federal property. You know the DHS memo of 2018. You guys are aware of that? That I'm allowed to record and exercise my rights in a federal property in public areas. I'm pretty sure you guys can be aware of that. That's all I'm doing, man. I'm not trying to interact with people. I'm just taking video. If they feel uncomfortable, you should educate them and let them know.
I'll take care of that.
That's it. You know, that doesn't trump my rights when they act like that. That's all I'm doing. I'll show you the rules, the regulations.
That's all I want you
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, yeah.
That's all.
I got you.
I have nothing against you.
No. I have no problem showing to you.
As mentioned by the auditor himself, the DHS, or the Department of Homeland Security, released a memo back in 2018 that highlighted exactly when an individual can lawfully record inside a federally owned building. According to that document, Title 41, Section 102-74.420 of the Code of Federal Regulations provides federal policy concerning photographs for news, advertising, or commercial purposes. It states, except where security regulations, rules, orders, or directives apply, or federal court order or rule prohibits it, persons entering in or on federal property may take photographs of building entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, or auditoriums for news purposes. This ties in with the First Amendment, which states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Keyword is the freedom of the press, which protects the right of individuals, including journalists and citizens, to gather and disseminate information through various mediums, including videography. Also, a quick point to note, according to the officer's claim that anyone who is not a veteran would be trespassed from the healthcare center was totally false. According to this logic, every single person would have to first prove that they are veterans and then enter the building. This simply made no sense.
Going down.
If I go out,
That means that's it. Yes, ma'am. So,
I'm not from this area,
okay, I'll show you outside. I'll show you. This
so
way,
if you get me going that direction.
Sir, I did not give you permission to film me. Turn the camera
I'm not
off
doing
now, or I'm going to file charges.
File charges. I don't understand why you feel so triggered. I'm recording everything I do here, and especially with them.
My face, and I don't have to.
Not illegal, man. You're out in public. It's not illegal. Oh, absolutely I am. That type of behavior, yes I am.
Hi. Well, okay. Wait, let me get it.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead. Take your time, man. No problem.
Step outside, please.
Who is this guy? Yeah, he's a lieutenant? Hey, you can't tell me to step outside of a public building. Can I show you the rules and regulations? Oh, no, you don't. Not when I'm exercising my rights here and take video, and it's federal property. It's on your rules and regulations right there, along with my First Amendment right, along with my constitutional right. I'm exercising my rights peacefully. You can't turn this into a crime. That's your rules and regulation. That's on the side from my First Amendment right. I'm allowed to record in public buildings.
But is this for news?
Of course.
I thought no,
Yeah. I'm disseminating to the public my news. Yeah, news purposes. Yeah, lobbies.
Are you advertising?
Yeah.
Well, you
I'm not gonna answer that. I just answered the question.
This.
I just answered the question. I'm disseminating information to the public. That's it. That should tell you right there. I'm not trying. I come with no ill will. But when people feel uncomfortable like that,
Special purposes may be taken only with written consent of the head of the facility. So somebody.
No. That's if you're going into a restricted area. It says it right there,
It says
man.
restricted area. It says.
I don't need.
For news, advertising, commercial purposes may be taken only with written consent of the head of the facility designated. So you have.
No, you don't need that.
That's what it says right here. There's a regulation.
No, I'm not violating it. No, it's not. You got to reread that, man. You don't need. No, you don't need to be a veteran to come. Listen, to exercise my rights is doing.
It says here where it says the lobby for you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it says you got to have permission here.
No, you don't. Not if you go. Listen. Not if you're doing it for commercial. I'm doing it for news purposes.
Just tell you what that says.
Sir.
That's all.
So what are you trying to tell me? You guys are gonna violate my rights and tell me to leave? I don't have to leave.
Why do you have to leave? Because you're not a veteran here.
I don't need to be a veteran here.
Yes.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you.
I don't need
rights.
your.
We can actually.
You can't trespass me from a public building. This is a federal building. I can record in here. Okay, I'm just saying. That's not. No, I'm not violating the law. Okay. Look at your DHS memo 2018, man. Look that up. I know what that says. No, I'm not in the wrong, sir.
Clearly, the officers were uninformed and still remained confident that the auditor did not have permission to record, as they failed to comprehend the rules and regulations posted right at the entrance. And if that wasn't enough, we've already discussed how the DHS has clarified any confusion. Anyway, following this, the auditor came across a senior officer, the lieutenant. Contrary to what one would expect, the lieutenant responded to the auditor's concerns with hostility.
Are we good? For what was that?
Sir, are you a veteran?
I don't need to answer that. I'm just taking video and working on a story as an independent journalist.
Are you a veteran?
I'm not going to answer that question.
If you're not a veteran, you have to leave the property.
So if I don't leave, you guys are going to arrest me? Can you say that on camera?
You have to leave the property.
I'm not leaving unless it's under threat of arrest. What's your name and badge number?
My name is Lieutenant Todd Harmon.
You know you're violating my constitutional right. I'm allowed to record here as a journalist.
Okay, in the general area.
That's what I was
You're
at.
not a veteran.
I don't need to be a
You're not
veteran.
You don't have any business being here. We're going to ask you to leave the property.
Can you de-escalate real quick? If I don't leave, am I going to get arrested?
You're being asked to leave the property.
Well, if it's an ask, I'm declining the ask. I'm going to keep working on my story. If I will leave under threat of arrest.
What is your story?
My people want to see this beautiful building. As a journalist, I'm independent. I disseminate information to the public. That's
There's
it.
veterans that are in here that are uncomfortable by you filming.
But
them,
this is a
and they don't
public.
want you to be in
This is a public area. There's no expectation of privacy.
Please go by.
Let me ask you this. We close at 4:30.
That's fine.
Come by then.
Why would I want to come
Because
in?
then nobody's here. Then you can rotate.
But I have things to do. I'm doing it now.
Why don't you come at 4:30 when nobody's here, so nobody has any problem with you?
He just made a phone call. Hold on. He just made a phone call to somebody, and they told him that I have my right to film here. Ask him who he called.
Let me finish, though. If you come at 4:30 when nobody's here,
I'm not coming back at that time. I'm already here. I'm almost done with my story.
well, you finish your story, we come out at 4.
No, I'm not gonna do
nobody's
that.
here, you won't have no issues with nobody here.
Okay, he just asked me to leave. Are you guys going to arrest me if I don't leave this property? You're gonna violate my rights.
I'm with him on the 10th, whatever he wants to do.
Okay, if under threat of arrest, I'll leave. If you guys are gonna arrest me and violate my rights, I'll leave. What you guys are doing, you're violating my rights. In this federal property, I'm allowed to record here. Anywhere that it's common areas. That's where I was at. If people feel uncomfortable, that doesn't trump my rights to stop my story. You know? I'm almost done. What was that? Okay. I already told you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. Appreciate it. No, I don't need permission. Yeah. Hey, I don't need permission to record here. I don't. You're not looking at the DHS memo. You guys got a DHS memo 2018. You all go look it up on your phone. Nah, I know what it says. Look at the no, I'm not wrong. I wouldn't be here if I knew I was wrong, sir. I wouldn't be here.
So what's your YouTube channel so I can look it up?
Surreal Cam.
Huh?
Surreal
For real?
Cam. Like
Cam?
camera?
Okay.
CAM. You can look it up. Check out my videos.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
That's
it.
what I want to see.
That's it.
Now the lieutenant can be seen making phone calls and speaking to the front desk receptionist in an attempt to figure out whether the auditor was actually allowed to record. Meanwhile, the other two officers still remained adamant that the auditor was in the wrong.
I was almost done with my story. I was just gonna walk up there and come back down, and I was leaving. Nobody bothered me.
For 1 minute, who you can contact to get permissions, okay?
I don't need permission to exercise my rights, sir. I don't need that. That's fine. I want to go ahead and do what you gotta do. No,
Use the video for commercial.
I'm disseminating information to my public viewers. That's all I'm doing. I don't really have to answer you that, but I'm being nice about it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I come with no ill will, sir.
Our concern is our veterans in here who are made uncomfortable by your video.
You know that our veterans in here fought for the rights I'm exercising right now? And when they're out in public, they don't have privacy. Nobody has privacy when you're out in public. All right, cool.
It seemed like the lieutenant somewhat realized that the auditor actually had the right to record in the building, and now we see a different demeanor, a calmer and more understandable one. Let's see what the lieutenant had to say by the end of it.
All right, guys, so we've already been down here. We just wanted to go upstairs. And pretty much, they're not looking at the memo. You should. Is it on? All right, cool. It's supposed to be. That's fine. I have mines. Mines is my main protection. You guys redact that. You guys mute that.
Nope.
Yeah, absolutely. I request them all the time. And believe me, they're not too transparent with that. That's it. It's about accountability and transparency within the government. People respect my rights to film. That's all I'm doing. See if you guys respect my rights.
Which other government buildings have you been to?
Who's that?
Which other government buildings have you been to?
Oh, I know plenty. I don't know by the top of my head.
I'm down here or you?
I don't answer that type of
No, I'm
question.
just asking. Just because I think you travel all over the place.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I'm
That's what I
saying.
do for a living. Yeah. I'm a journalist. Taking photographs,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking.
video, county buildings, anywhere that's public. That's it.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I come peacefully. That lady interacted with me. I was trying to explain to her, but she didn't feel comfortable. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's cool. I don't know why people feel so triggered over recording. I wasn't even interacting with people. I don't understand what's wrong with that. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. See these cameras in here? I can request those and put them on the internet as well. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but it's all right. I don't know what he's trying to give me over here. I don't need permission to, you know. So I don't got all day. I already walked down here. Upstairs is when that lady, huh? I don't really give that, man. I already gave you enough.
I know, no, I'm just saying, but we gotta give us yours, ours.
You
here,
guys are,
right?
but
Do
listen,
we not?
you guys are public servants.
It doesn't matter.
It's policy.
You not?
I don't have to.
I'm just saying.
I don't have to. I can. My name is Joey, man.
Okay.
Your demeanor seems alright right now, but your demeanor seems pretty cool right now.
I am pretty cool.
But you're trying to violate my rights, bro. I don't know. This guy's telling me to leave, though. You haven't told me yet, but I'm not here for that. Yeah, I know what it says, but you're not reading the memo. You gotta read. I can't believe you guys don't know about the DHS memo in 2018 about video recording. That's very important now. No, I should. Actually, I should. You got me on that. I should. Yeah, I should. I carry around the constitutional book, which is really not on me either. It's in the car. But thank you for that. Can I address you with something else real quick? You know what? We have a constitution, right? Okay, hold on. You know freedom of the press is part of the 5 points, right?
I'm not denying. I did not deny you at all.
Okay. Just that right there gives me the right to record it here.
Did I deny you of anything?
I didn't, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just bringing that to your attention as well.
I just read that to you.
Yeah, I know you did. I know, but this is a memo that was out in 2018. Maybe that's not updated. I didn't check. But I'm telling you, my rights.
Did I deny you?
Gives me the freedom to do this.
Did I deny you? Oh, okay. So then you don't worry about it.
Well, this is about. This is what it's about. Educational purposes. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you don't have to, but you should. It'll look bad. I don't have to. I don't have to do that. See what I'm saying?
Kind of a disorderly problem.
Can you apologize to me?
I do apologize.
Thank you, man.
Right?
You guys are that's gonna look good.
So,
on the
as long
platform.
as as long as you're not interrupting.
I'm not
patient
doing that.
care, or taking any pictures of patients and stuff like that.
I don't do it in public. Whatever I can see, I can record it.
Yep.
The lady upstairs interacted with me. What are you doing recording? I tried to explain to her very peacefully.
Yep.
They felt uncomfortable. That doesn't trump my rights, dude.
Correct.
That's
As
all
long
I'm
as- as
doing.
long as there's
That's
no
not
disorderly
causing.
that
Yeah,
causes
that's
or anything like that.
exactly.
Well, then that's a different story.
I
Now it's
appreciate it,
disorderly
man.
conduct.
We didn't see.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
See?
My name is Joey. That's all you get. You don't need no more than that.
You're in public areas, and
Thank you. Yeah, that's all I'm
it is what it
doing.
is, okay.
Cool.
As long as
Appreciate
there's
it.
No disturbances.
Awesome,
we're
guy.
good to go.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Oh, gotcha. All right, take it easy. And I wish that lady was still here. What was that?
They gave you the okay?
Absolutely. It's my constitutional right. Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hope you learned something new today, officer. And we're out of here. You have a safe day. Peace.
And just like that, the auditor proved his point. He not only educated the public through his YouTube video, but also highlighted the importance of understanding and respecting individuals' rights to record in public spaces, especially in federally owned buildings. On top of this, he made sure that the law enforcement officers at the healthcare center did not unlawfully order someone out of the building just because they were exercising their freedom of the press. Moving on, we're looking at an outrageous case where a man was not only harassed, but also arrested in his own driveway. What's worse is that the police officers impounded his vehicle out of retaliation and then went even as far as to yell threats at his wife for no reason. On July 3, 2023, Sean Bresnahan, a resident and local mechanic in Greenbrier, Arkansas, was in his driveway looking under the hood of his car to inspect the engine when he was suddenly confronted by Officer Amberton with the Greenbrier Police Department, who somehow decided that this was going to be a traffic stop. As ridiculous as it sounds, let's watch the initial contact between both parties to understand what was happening.
I'm good. Reason to stop you tagged.
Yeah, I gotta get him took care of. I just got it running last night.
Okay.
It's been sitting parked for.
Hey, those are I'm at Walmart for you.
I got you. You got your driver's license with you?
I don't.
10-4.
Do you have a driver's license?
I do.
Okay. What's your name?
Sean Frisbee.
You want to step back here with me? Let me get your name and stuff. See what's going on with you. What's been going on with it?
82-700.
Just seconds into the encounter, it appeared that something was wrong. Officer Amberton was apparently taking the wrong approach in conducting his duties as a government official. This is because of the reason he gave to Mr. Bresnahan. He claimed that he was stopping Mr. Bresnahan because of his vehicle's tags. In other words, Officer Amberton was conducting a traffic stop, except it wasn't a valid one. Note that a traffic stop is an instance of police stopping a driver, as for speeding or a broken taillight. Plus, a routine traffic stop is justified if a police officer has a reasonable suspicion that the occupant is unlicensed or the vehicle is unregistered. All of these factual statements make perfect sense, but in this case, there was no driver or occupant of the vehicle. Mr. Bresnahan's car was stationary, parked in his own driveway when Officer Amberton made contact with him. It made no sense for this to be a traffic stop when technically no traffic violation had occurred. On top of this, Officer Amberton asked Mr. Bresnahan for his driver's license and then asked for his name when he mentioned that he wasn't in possession of his ID. Now bear in mind that Mr. Bresnahan had every right to remain silent and refuse to answer questions, even if Officer Amberton asked for his name. This is because Mr. Bresnahan was not constitutionally or officially detained. But this quickly changes, as you will now see.
John, put your phone down. Okay, I'm gonna detain you for a minute, okay? So I get all this figured out. Do what? Yeah, you're driving on suspended. Okay. We'll get to it. Okay? I'm gonna detain you for a minute so I get it all figured out because you're moving around, you're wanting to go in, you're wanting to get in the truck.
You asked me to sit down, I sat down. You actually asked me to come back here. Okay, and move things.
Perfect. I'm gonna detain you while I look through my computer.
Will you hush, please?
Over here.
Is the reason why?
I'm asking you to move over here.
I understand that. I'm asking you the reason why.
I'm gonna detain you while I do my paperwork and figure out what's going on with your license and all that.
I'm not going anywhere. You got my vehicles blocked in.
I don't have any vehicles blocked in. What's going on? I'm gonna put them in front of you. Okay? While we look at the stuff. You've been over here, you've been in front of your car, trying to open the hood, you're moving all over the place. I need to focus on what's going on here to decide whether you stay here or whether you do anything. If you don't allow me to do that, then we're gonna stand here and talk. Okay?
I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm kind of opposed to being put in handcuffs like I've done something wrong.
You've not done anything wrong. I'm detaining you, keep you over here where I can keep an eye on you.
I'll give you my word, I'll stay right here. But I don't want to be put in handcuffs if at all possible. I'm sure you can understand.
I can understand to a certain point, but right now you're interfering with my operation, my investigation. Because you won't comply with what I'm asking you to do.
I'm trying to comply, but I don't feel the need to be put in handcuffs. That's being put under arrest.
No, it's not. It's being detained. That's what I told you.
Okay. That's detained as an arrest.
No, it's not. Apprehension is arrest.
Not being able to leave your own free will is arrest.
You're being detained until I finish my investigation. That doesn't mean you're under arrest.
As seen in the footage, Officer Amberton walked up to Mr. Bresnahan, who was simply sitting down playing poker on his phone, to first order him to put his phone down and then inform him that he was being detained so an investigation could be conducted. Clearly, this raises several concerns. First of all, let's clarify when exactly an individual can be lawfully detained in Arkansas. According to the Arkansas Rules of Criminal Procedure number 3.1, a law enforcement officer lawfully present in any place may, in the performance of his duties, stop and detain any person who he reasonably suspects is committing, has committed, or is about to commit 1. A felony, or 2. A misdemeanor involving danger or forcible injury to persons or of appropriation of or damage to property. In this case, as discussed earlier, all Mr. Bresnahan did was inspect his car before an officer showed up and started questioning him. Bear in mind that all of this was happening on Mr. Bresnahan's personal property, making this incident that much more ridiculous. Now you must have caught Officer Amberton telling Mr. Bresnahan that his license was suspended, but there's more to this. Let's read Mr. Bresnahan's statement to understand the situation. He described what happened immediately after he gave Officer Amberton his name. I went to go into my house and get the keys to my truck. That way I could give him the paperwork that was going to clear up what he was fixing to see on his computer. Because I had a feeling that it was going to show license suspended, which it was suspended previously, in error, due to missing a court date that my lawyer at the time didn't advise me of. Got all that squared away about 3 weeks before all this happened. I had the paperwork in my truck to prove that it was all taken care of, and he goes, "Oh, you can't go in your house without me. It's for my safety and yours." And I was, again, a little confused because I was at my house. This was something that would have been normal for me.
Yeah,
What brought the law got broken?
driving on suspended.
I have paperwork to show otherwise.
Okay, well, it's not showing that in my truck.
I understand that. I have paperwork from the court that shows it.
You have it on your person?
No, sir, it's in my truck.
Was it in the car that you were driving?
No, sir, it's in my truck.
Okay. So, no different than you being on the highway. You wouldn't
well,
have
I
it.
mean,
You wouldn't have it with you.
That may be
Correct?
true. That may be true. It is different because it's here. I'm here. I have it on.
No, you don't have it on you.
It's on this property. I would assume it's in my access.
That's what the problem is. You're saying.
Okay. Well, I know for a fact I have the paperwork. It's 25 feet away from me. I can show you that real quick and clear this all up. I was on my own property and you pulled up behind me. And now you're wanting to put me in handcuffs.
You're driving down the highway, driving on suspended.
I have the paperwork to show my license is not suspended. It was suspended in error.
Suspended in error.
Yes, sir. It'd be
And I
necessary to
asked
be
you-
put in
and I
handcuffs.
asked you, I was going to detain you. You chose not to. So now you're interfering with governmental operations. Now, one of two ways, brother. You can go to jail or you can be detained for a few minutes on the figure it out.
You need to detain me. That's what you need to do.
Okay. And that's the two options you got.
Okay.
You want to be detained for just a few minutes and come over here and let me deal with this? We can figure it out.
Why do I need to come over there? I'm not trying
So
to...
that I can ask you questions at the same time. I can't ask you questions walking up and down the
Yes, sir. I understand.
house
That's why I
and
sat
stuff.
down. That way you can ask me questions.
Right. I'm not going to yell from my truck over here because you're sitting at your house. I'm going to detain you and I'm going to put you over here where I can talk. Correct. Okay.
At this point, it becomes quite obvious that Officer Amberton was simply determined to place Mr. Bresnahan in handcuffs from the get-go. Clearly, there's no logical reasons as to why Officer Amberton would need to not only detain him, but detain him in handcuffs. It's almost as if it was Officer Amberton's way of asserting his authority over Mr. Bresnahan for trying to challenge him. This becomes even more obvious since Officer Amberton gave him two options, both completely ridiculous. Either go to jail or get detained for a few minutes. This behavior exhibited by Officer Amberton raises serious questions about his professionalism and adherence to the law. He was basically abusing his power and using intimidation tactics to assert control over Mr. Bresnahan just for the heck of it. By handcuffing him without valid cause and presenting him with unreasonable choices, Officer Amberton had also violated Mr. Bresnahan's Fourth Amendment right to the United States Constitution. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The fact that Mr. Bresnahan was now placed in handcuffs without a good reason while on his own property goes to show how tyrannical and ignorant Officer Amberton was. This irrational behavior continues, as you will see.
Okay, here. I'm not arguing. Here, want to explain your citations to you? Unless you want to go to jail and bond on it.
I don't, but
Okay,
I don't
then.
want my car towed either. That's
Okay,
still on my property.
I don't want you driving on the
I'm not going to drive it. I
highway.
have other vehicles I can drive. But I apparently have a driving suspended license or something, so I'm not going to drive anyway.
Okay.
But you're not taking the property from my property.
Okay.
If we were out on the street, you'd have the absolute right to tow.
I still
I've
have
been
the
through
right
this.
to tow.
Not from private property, sir.
Okay. You're driving it on city street, which is a violation. You're driving on suspended. I'm taking the vehicle, no insurance. I would sit there and watch you drive Wilson Farm, drove all the way around Tyler, come back down through here on Linder, taking the car. Apparently you don't understand what we can see because you do have a problem with driving on suspended and you do have a problem with registering the vehicle.
And I do have it all
Because you've
cleared
been
up. I've
cited
showed
it
you.
very many times. Okay?
And I've got them all dismissed, as I've shown you.
Okay. I don't know if you got them dismissed or not.
The paperwork right there shows you.
Yeah, I got your paperwork.
Okay. I'm told right there.
I'm still showing that you like a $100 reinstatement.
That was taken out of my taxes, and that one says that the
Okay.
security safety fees waived if you look at it.
That's fine. I can't. This is not what I go by, sir. I don't go by your paperwork that you pull out of your truck and sit in your yard.
That's
I
paperwork from the
apologize.
court with the seal.
Okay? I don't care what it is. That's not what I can go by today. Okay? I'm going by my system that I look at. And also our dispatcher looked at it as well to make sure I wasn't.
As we've just witnessed, Officer Amberton was blatantly dedicated to simply taking Mr. Bresnahan to jail, regardless of whether it was justified or not. This becomes especially true when we look at the context of this part of the footage. After Officer Amberton initially placed Mr. Bresnahan in handcuffs, he agreed to take a look at the paperwork that would help conclude the bogus investigation and allow Mr. Bresnahan to go about his day. However, Officer Amberton was apparently uninterested and intentionally neglected the paperwork. Mr. Bresnahan's statement was as follows. As far as the reason the officer escalated, I was just as confused as anybody else watching the video. He even states on there that I wasn't being combative. I wasn't a flight risk. He didn't think I was going to run. I told him I'd sit right where I was and be happy to answer any questions he had for me, and I would have done so up to a certain point. I tried to show him the paperwork to show all of that was dismissed, that the license was suspended in error, that had been reinstated, and that the reinstatement fee had been waived. And he wasn't interested in seeing that. We've also heard Officer Amberton state that the paperwork wasn't credible. This was yet again evidence for the fact that he was a corrupt and tyrannical government official on a power trip. To add to this, Mr. Bresnahan was also about to lose his vehicle because Officer Amberton decided that it must be impounded. No logical reason was given even then. But this is where things take a turn. Not a good turn though. Watch as Officer Amberton interacts with Mr. Bresnahan's wife, who was rightfully confused and concerned with what was happening.
I'm fixing to call Chief right now. Hey, Sean, you don't want to give him the key to pull it up there? You recording this too, Lacey? Awesome.
I am.
Because then we'll subpoena your phone and it'll be gone for a while. That piece of rock? Do you need to go inside, ma'am? Okay, you got your driver's license with you? Got your driver's license with you? You want to include yourself in my investigation, so I need your ID. I need your driver's license. She just said she didn't want to go inside, so she's involving herself here. Okay, I'm not arguing. I need your driver's license.
This is my house.
I understand.
And I wasn't doing anything. You didn't pull me over.
Ma'am, this is my traffic stop. You want to involve yourself with the person that I'm talking to. And I asked you if you need to go in the house, and you said, no, you're going to stay outside. So you're involving yourself in my investigation, so I need to identify who you are.
I'm not involving myself in your investigation.
Okay, then have your way inside.
You can't tell me I have to go in.
Then ID yourself. One of the two. One of the two.
This is my house and my property. I can stand on my property.
You're correct.
Without you harassing me.
I'm not harassing you. You're involving in my traffic stop.
Because
Did you not talk to him? Did you talk to this gentleman right here?
Yes, he asked me for a cigarette.
Okay, then. You're involving yourself.
That's my husband. This is my property.
Okay. All you do, got to do is identify yourself.
But I don't have to. You can't force me to do anything on my property.
Okay,
You did not pull me
I'm
over.
sorry. I'm sorry. You know my job better than me. So you tell me what I need to do.
I'll step off of my property.
I'm not asking you to go anywhere. Go get Jerry, whoever Jerry is. Then he will be identified as well. If you're going to include yourself in my traffic stop, are you talking to the person I've got in handcuffs? Then you included yourself. I do not know who he is. I do not know your relationship. Okay? Do you want to include yourself or do you not?
Officer, what he does know.
That's fine. He did not make the traffic stop. I did. Okay?
Okay, but
Would you like to go?
on my property.
What am I harassing you about?
Trying to say I have to give you my driver's license. You did not pull me over. I'm not involved for anything. Like you not have to give me my license.
You are correct. You're not in trouble for anything just yet. But if you keep interfering with my investigation, you're going to go to jail.
I didn't interfere with anything.
Okay, then identify yourself or go in the house. One of the two. I'm not playing y'all's game.
Once again, a completely obvious abuse of authority. There's no question that Officer Amberton was on a severe power trip, but speaking to Mr. Bresnahan's wife in such a confrontational and escalated manner was not justified in any way either. He gave Mr. Bresnahan's wife two options, just like he did to Mr. Bresnahan himself, but slightly different. Either provide ID or go inside the house. Officer Amberton's justification was that the wife was interfering with his investigation, an investigation that could have ended ages ago if he wanted to go that route. Now, bear in mind that the wife was not detained whatsoever. She had committed no crime, and there was absolutely no reasonable explanation of it either, meaning that her Fourth Amendment right was also being trumped because she was being ordered to step off her own property that she could rightfully stand on whenever and wherever she wanted to. In fact, the ironic thing is that she actually had the right to order Officer Amberton off the property instead. It stated that, first of all, law enforcement can legally bypass the Fourth Amendment if they have a judge-signed warrant. The state or law enforcement must obtain a valid warrant to perform a lawful search. Otherwise, the contents discovered are not valid in court. For a search to be justified without a warrant, the officer must have articulable reasons for searching a person or private property. Other exceptions apply as well, including pursuit and emergency situations. But in this case, Officer Amberton technically didn't have the right to step onto private property from the get-go, making this situation so much more ridiculous. Now let's hear a snippet from a conversation between one of the tow company representatives and Mr. Bresnahan's wife.
But from what I heard, and it's just rumor, but from what I heard, that your husband was being a smart, or they wouldn't even have told you. Said they were just going to take everything up. But your husband took off. That's what I heard.
Clearly, one of the officers related to this entire ordeal told the tow company that Mr. Bresnahan was being problematic. This goes to show and prove that Officer Amberton was indeed motivated to arrest him just because he was trying to protect his rights from being severely violated. This is also an appropriate time to note that impounding his vehicle was yet another unlawful and unjustified action taken by Officer Amberton because the 2010 Arkansas Code 5-64-505 gives the police department the authority to seize certain property related to drug offenses. Then the state can go even further to forfeit, completely deprive the defendant of it after the court hearing. To further explain, when Arkansas law enforcement has a hunch that someone is involved in illicit drug activity, they have the right to seize any money or assets used as part of this crime, be it vehicles, land holdings, and other possessions. Also, it's to be noted that officers can lawfully impound a vehicle when someone's driving without insurance. However, let's recall the fact that Mr. Bresnahan was not driving when Officer Amberton decided to somehow pull him over. The last piece of information to discuss is the fact that the tow company demanded $275 to take the car from Mr. Bresnahan's house to the impound lot. He was not in the financial situation to pay it right away, and eventually, they told him that they would auction the car off after 45 days if the sum wasn't paid. Eventually, they sold the car for $2,600, an amount far from what it was actually worth. Mr. Bresnahan has filed a civil lawsuit, and no further updates have been made as of the date of this recording. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter.